All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day. That that might get lost on people today. It is Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to the lovely Mrs. Bickerstaff. Well, ironically, this is not the only time Dallas Fort Worth has had snow on Valentine's Day. Um, I'll look in the chat and see if we have the other 3 years we've had snow on Valentine's Day. You get a bonus prize. Don't know what that's going to be, but we'll figure it out. All right, so outside right now at my house, a balmy 17 degrees. That may with the winds out of the north about 10, gusting to 20. That makes it feel like 8 degrees outside. So if you've been outside this morning, this afternoon, you definitely know it's cold, and it's only going to get colder, and it's only going to get more windy. So with that, let's just get an update on what's going on out there. So let's just go on and look at the radar. Now, if you look outside, and I'm going to look outside my window, really the past couple hours, just seeing some light intermittent snow, and that's pretty common for the last couple of hours. I think with the radar presentation you see here, that's going to change probably in about 2 hours or so. And let's see if we can put this in motion. Do that there, and hopefully it was working fine when I was testing it out. There we go. Okay, so you can see that it's headed our way generally. Like I said, probably this is a heavy snow band that they've kind of been talking about the last couple of days. I've been talking about the last couple of days. So it is on its way, that is for sure. So really what we're looking at this afternoon is I think the weather will deteriorate. That's a relative thing. If you like the snow, if you like the uh, severe winter cold, then you're going to be in for a treat. If you don't like that, then you won't be in for a treat. So, um, you know, Larry Bowles, yes, if you're going to go for a walk, I'd do it now, unless you really like the snow. So it's coming, and as you can see, the radar depicts that pretty well. So what can we expect once it gets here? So let me get over here to this screen, and I'm going to do this first. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is the latest and greatest snowfall accumulation model that they are putting out there. And as you can see, and you might not be able to see that very clearly, but you're averaging in a metroplex anywhere from 5 to 6 inches. If you look outside, we've probably gotten about, at least at my house, we've probably gotten about half an inch, maybe 3/4 if you're generous, of an inch, and that will be changing with the radar presentation that we had talked about before. So I think we're going to see those totals really go up. Now, are we really going to get 5 or 6 inches? We could. That's hard to say though, because snowfall is so hard to predict, and it's looking like we'll at least get a couple inches at least. So that's kind of good news. Now, the other thing that we'll have to really watch out for is the wind. The wind will start to pick up as the snow band moves in. Not that it's not windy enough as it is right now, but it is going to get windier, and that's going to really decrease the wind chills. We just looked at the wind chills about 6 or 7 degrees. Once the snow band moves in and the wind really picks up, I think you're going to see the wind chills really get cold, below zero possibly, and of course certainly tonight and in the morning. So let's see. Let's look at, so speaking of that, that's a temperature map, the lows for tomorrow morning, and you can see the prediction is 6 degrees. That's probably going to be pretty accurate for most of Dallas-Fort Worth. I think you're going to see anywhere from 3 to 8 or 9 degrees above zero. How many times do we say that in North Texas? Above zero, below zero. So it's going to be pretty doggone chilly. And chilly's not right where it's going to be cold, bitterly cold, really. And the wind is going to make it feel even colder. And you're talking about minus 10, minus 15 degrees. It's just, you're not going to want to be outside tonight or in the morning. So timing, the radar kind of gave that away a little bit, but this is the latest thinking. That yellow shade, which covers Dallas-Fort Worth, 2 to 4 p.m. It's almost 2 o'clock now. So if you look at the radar, I think that's probably pretty close as far as the western parts of Dallas-Fort Worth will start to see this. So if you're looking at, Dallas, Plano, McKinney, Sachse, you're probably talking somewhere between 3 and 4, maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon at the latest. So, what does that mean? What that means is, I was able to make it to church today. I wasn't real thrilled, but, the driving wasn't too bad. I'm not really, let me rephrase that. I was thrilled to go to church. I wasn't thrilled to drive in it. But it wasn't that bad. It really wasn't. The snow is a lot better to drive on than the ice. But, right now, I mean, if you absolutely had to go somewhere, and if you're somewhat comfortable on driving on snow, you'd probably be okay. But once this snow band moves in, it's not technically gonna be a blizzard, but it might feel like a blizzard to us. So I definitely wouldn't want to get out in that. So if you happen to need to do something, go for a walk, do whatever outside, now might be the time to do it, because around 4 o'clock, it's gonna get the weather's gonna go bad really quickly once that snow band moves in. And like I said, in the map on the left, you see, averaging 3 to 4 inches in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. It could be higher, it could be lower. Like I said, snowfall is always hard to predict. So it's coming. It's already here, of course, but the big part of it is coming. And so let's go back to the radar real quick and see where we're at. I'm going to stop this. And so I'd say the leading edge is from Montague to Bowie to Jacksboro, Mineral Wells, coming our way. And I think I'm going to switch to the Abilene radar, and this will give you a little bit better idea. So you can see, of course, the snowfall you can't see very far away from the radar site, so that's why it doesn't show up as much from the Fort Worth radar. This is the Abilene radar, and of course they're right in the thick of it, so that's kind of what's coming our way. And I will say this: when you see yellow on a snow presentation on the radar, that's a pretty doggone heavy snow. Yellow from a rain standpoint is snow. It's yellow with snow is something else. That is what's coming our way. So we'll switch back to the Fort Worth radar here. And before I leave you this afternoon, let's go back to the temperature outside my house. If I can get this to work here, let's try this. And there we go. Okay. So again, just a tad over 17 degrees, 17.2. Our wind chill right now is 7, and it's been as low as 6 at my house. It's just, the bottom line is this. It's definitely pretty outside, no doubt about it. You look outside, I'm looking out my window right here, and it's pretty. It's just really pretty. However, the temperature and the wind the temperature's going to drop, and the wind is going to pick up. And in most of our snowfall events here, it snows and it's cold, but cold like 25. It's already 17 now. It's going to be really, really cold. The biggest thing you have to watch out for is if you're outside, don't have any exposed skin, because you can get frostbite even in these temperatures. We always think of frostbite with temperatures below 0, but you can get frostbite. So please cover up any exposed skin if you do go outside. Or if you go outside, just don't have exposed skin for very long. I'm not saying you're going to get frostbite in 10 minutes because it's not that cold, but you're not going to feel very good if you don't cover up your exposed skin, that's for sure. But the wind's going to pick up, the visibility is going to go down, and it's just going to be as close to a blizzard as we experience around here. And as I've been saying most of the week, that's the historic part of it. The other historic part of it is the temperatures. We don't get into single digits very often at all, and we sure don't get close to 0. And Monday night, Tuesday morning, we may very well hit 0. That's how cold it's going to be, especially if the clouds clear out. And we get a big snowpack. It's going to really, really be cold. And we might actually dip below 0 for the first time since 1989. We shall see. All right. Hit me up on social media if you have any questions. But it's coming, and we're going to look at one more look at the radar here. And, well, no, that's not going to work, Jeff. How about this? There we go. Okay, so it's coming. So if you got anything to do to where you don't want to be outside before this hits, do it now, because you got about an hour and a half. As always, I'm watching the weather, so you don't have to. Stay safe, stay warm, keep those pipes covered, keep the pipes under your sinks, the cabinet drawers open, drip the faucet if you have to, if it's on the outside wall. Like I mentioned, you don't want to have to deal with that in all this. And so just make sure you're doing everything you can to protect your house from freezing, from your pipes being frozen, because that's about the last thing you want to do or have to deal with. So, okay, as I said, as always, I'm watching the weather, so you don't have to. Everyone enjoy the snow, but be careful when it gets a little worse later today, and please stay warm. We'll talk to you soon, everybody.